I've been teaching golf as an LPGA teaching professional for 20 years. I was a late starter to golf, and I actually started when my children started over in Israel. But in those 20 years, I have taught thousands and thousands of golfers, everyone from beginner, non-experienced golfers, all the way up to tour players. So I think over these last 20 years, I've gained a great amount of experience and a great respect for this game, and I love it tremendously. So today, I'm going to teach you about the chip. But before I do, I'd just like to tell you, to relate a story to you that I think hopefully will help some of you. When I was in Israel and I was starting my teaching career, my children were playing, but on Fridays they weren't allowed to play on the golf course. They could play in the practice area and do the short game. And so I came up and I saw my son chipping, my younger son David, and I said, wow, I said to myself, look at this, he's chipping beautifully and I haven't taught him how to chip yet. So I said, David, where did you learn how to chip like that? And he said to me, Ma, like a scientist, I experimented. And that was probably one of the best lessons I've had in golf, because at that moment I realized that we're so afraid to try something ourselves unless someone says it's the right way to do it. And so I learned something very important. And then one day I was chipping with a friend, and he wasn't very good at it yet, and he was a golf professional, and we stood about 10 feet from each other. And I started to think, God, I'm going to kill him if I chip the way I've been chipping, which was basically hitting it very thin. And he kept saying, well, women can't hit down, and women hate when men say that to you. And he says, well, you need to learn how to hit down. And I kept thinking, that doesn't mean anything to me, hit down, because when I would hit down, I would go under, and that wasn't really the down he meant. So at that point, I started to think, what am I doing? How can I make the club stay close to the ground so I don't come up? And then I had my little revelation, and I think it has helped my teaching tremendously. And I'm going to share this with you in just a few minutes as we go out to the putting green and we talk about my favorite shot in the game, the chip shot. Hopefully today I can help you with your chipping and simplify it a little bit, so it'll be more fun for you to chip, and you will choose to chip instead of putt in situations where it is the right time to chip, but because of the fear level you choose to take out your putter. Now, I feel that the men and women I teach, it's pretty interesting to watch some of the differences with the chip shot, because if I say to a male that it's like a little bit of an underhand move, their hip will turn a little bit. Even though they don't think they're moving it, it will turn. If I say the same thing to a woman, their hip will go up. And I think, anatomically, there must be a difference here, because, it's just the women's bodies are just different than men, so we have to train it a little bit. So I will show you my interpretation and how I feel it works best for everybody, and also to get success in your chipping. So first of all, I would put a ball towards the instep of my right foot, keep my weight on my left leg. My stance would be open or left of my target. My hands would be on the inside of my left leg. Okay, from here, I let the club go back a little bit, and I keep the cup in my right wrist and the flat left wrist all the way through, so that I don't scull the ball or come under the ball. So many times we hear people say, after they miss their shot and they scull it across the green, they say, oh, I didn't get under the ball. And I'm sure you can all relate to that. And the thing of getting under a ball, I think it's a big misconception, because what happens is people drop their shoulder, and what happens is the club comes up just at the point where it needs to be going down. So we can't think under. So what can we think? I feel that if we let our our shoulders and our chest turn a little bit to the target and let your hip get out of the frozen mode and just let it move a little bit. Then we can keep the cup in our wrist and we can keep the club close to the ground. So this way, with my weight forward, the ball back, my hands are forward, all I'm doing is making a little miniature swing. And this is really impact on our golf swing too, where our right wrist is cupped and the left wrist is flat. We don't want to flip the wrists, but again, my feeling is if we freeze the bigger muscles, the only thing that can move is your wrists. So we have to get away from that thinking and allow ourselves to let the bigger muscles turn a little bit towards the target. So it goes like this. Okay, it's not a lot of movement, but there has to be some movement, like I said before. Otherwise, the wrists have to move, and we don't want that to happen. We want to stay close to the ground when we chip. Now I'm going to demonstrate a few chip shots. As you see, I've got myself with my weight on my left leg, my stance is open, my hands are to the bottom of the grip, and now I'm just going to make a little move like that. Here and there. Okay. Do another one. Here and there. Okay, now I'm going to show you a couple from the back. There's a very good drill. We have the bag here, so we can use the bag for our drill. In order to keep the cup in the wrist, what you can do is you can go against a wall, and you want your hands to hit the wall before the club face. You don't want to see this, okay? So we want to see this, okay? So we're going from here to here. So once we do that enough times, you'll see that you'll be training yourself to let the big muscles take over and not throw the club head, because again, you'll see this is the idea of getting under, which we don't want to do. We want to stay down by letting ourselves turn a little bit to the target, and that keeps us down. So hopefully with the combination of the drill, which will show you how we keep that cup in your hand, and by having the wall there, it definitely brings it home. And I think you'll be able to chip much better if you practice a little bit and then do some drills and see if you can allow yourself to move the bigger muscles, so that then you'll be able to keep that club going down and through. Don't think under, down and through, just by letting yourself turn a little bit. So I hope this was helpful for you today, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. And thank you very much.